I launched a lawsuit after being accused of defrauding my friend's wife, and she quickly fell out of favor. I've never had a worse experience than the last 4 days. I seen posts like these on Reddit and wanted to seek for guidance on what to do next because I don't know how to handle anything. The wife of my best buddy revealed to him that she had an untrue affair with me. For 8 years, my 35-year-old wife and I had been married. We are the proud parents of 2 lovely children, but this is about my 35-year-old friend Josh and his 34-year-old wife Mary. Josh and I met during our freshman year of college, and our bond has lasted ever since. He is generally my first pick when I need someone to talk to because we have always had an interest in technology. Josh and Mary began dating 5 years ago. Let's say Mary and my wife have radically different moral standards. She only seeks attention and is a very loud and manipulative individual. Josh and Mary have been in and out of partnerships during the previous 4 years. They break up regularly. However, after a few months, they were always together in some way. Mary continuously breaks up with Josh but finally gets him back. Furthermore, I am aware that Mary cheated on Josh with 2 or more guys while they were dating, but she was able to persuade him that he was not really committed to the relationship. Josh consistently holds. He accepted responsibility for Mary's sadness. My spouse has always avoided Mary and is aware of all that has been going on. However, we regularly run across her at social gatherings. Josh and Mary married in this month of the year. Josh discovered that Mary was having an extramarital affair with one of her coworkers and was cheating on him again. After a week with us, Josh, who was completely devastated, returned and confronted Mary, forcing her to leave. Josh had to contact the police to evict her since he bought the house before getting married. Mary, as far as we know, has returned to her parents' house. Josh filed for divorce last week, and I've been advising him throughout the proceedings. Mary and her father went to Josh's house on Saturday to get her items. Once they came, I instructed Josh to leave the house, but he wanted to make sure she didn't steal anything she didn't own. Josh and Mary got into a furious dispute during her visit, and Mary disclosed to Josh that she had an affair with me when they were married, which we used to stage in their bedroom. Everything about this is false. Mary has always caused me difficulties, so I've avoided her. Her comment appears to be an attempt to hurt Josh, in my judgment. Following the event, Josh arrived to our residence after growing upset. I sensed something was awry when I saw how sad he was. As soon as I answered the door, he started yelling at me and accusing me of sleeping with Mary. Fortunately, the children were not present, but my wife and I were, and we were both surprised by his comments. He attempted to strike me. Fortunately, he struck my shoulder and I was able to subdue him by grappling him to the ground. I wouldn't stop telling him that I'd never spent a single minute alone with Mary, and that everything she'd told him was false. He left after my wife threatened to call the police. My husband was devastated after he left us. I had to comfort her for hours before I could convince her that Mary was playing a joke on Josh. I work from home, and my wife and children seldom leave the house. Despite her changes over the last 4 days, I believe she still believes me. Josh reported my relationship with Mary to some of my close friends. He does not answer the phone for my wife or me. My wife contacted Mary. However, she did not answer our calls either. Josh and all of my friends think I am a complete fool for having an affair with his effing wife. I don't know how to deny this to anyone. I'm simply irritated. Could you please advise me on my next line of action? Comments that are pertinent. Speak to an attorney. Find out whether you may properly sue Mary for defamation. I mean it. She is inflicting tangible harm to your life and reputation by telling lies, which you should be able to prove. If a lawyer feels you have a case, you should file as soon as possible. That is an excellent idea. It could be my only chance to persuade Mary to disclose the truth. Really, buddy. That is messed up. Given the facts, I don't understand why your wife and friends don't trust you, but it appears that you should just deny doing it to clear the air. If you have evidence, show it to everyone who does not trust you. You might alternatively remark that you're happy to be friends but won't talk about the matter. Their selection. Of course, you should be gentler with your wife, but you should still tell her that she has to either believe you, allow you permission to research more if she is able, or that the two of you should seek counseling. Do not take half measures or treat each other differently simply because you are unable to prove anything. That's what I would do anyhow. I apologize, brother. I'll offer a prayer for you. Inform your acquaintance, who has terminal simp syndrome, that Mary should be informed about times, dates, and locations. How can they trust her if she cannot supply any of the items? If you spend the most of your time with your family, it should be easy to deny her unusual dates, times, and locations if she does supply them. Although your friend is devastated and lives in denial. You really need to soothe the woman you call your wife. Scream aloud to all of your friends, and obtain dates, times, and locations from Mary. If you want to call me an idiot or a cheater, please provide proof. Next, engage in a meaningful conversation with your partner. If you answer that you have, you can proceed once more. Google Maps is a valuable feature that many people neglect. It normally keeps a clean record, even if you don't think so. That may be useful. Regards. My husband has expressed encouragement. However, Josh's harmful deception throughout our social circle is having a bad impact. She felt the effect. Mary is not connecting with us. Update. I just published a post in which I pretended to have an affair with Mary, the wife of my best friend. This was never the case. Josh, my best friend, and his wife were divorcing. When she told him, he started making false charges about my friend's circle and myself. TLDR, first and foremost, we'd want to thank @dangerous1243 and everyone else who suggested we sue for defamation. After Mary folded within 24 hours, we vowed to sue. I couldn't stop thinking about how I might persuade Josh that I had completely forgotten about pursuing legal action by convincing Mary to tell the truth. I'm unable to offer an update since, following our Reddit post, the solicitors advised us to keep silent until Mary confessed. My husband and I spent several hours at night reviewing every remark. We quickly decided to investigate whether we might initiate a defamation complaint against Mary. Several of you suggested that I take a polygraph examination. My wife smiled when I proposed that we find a place for that. She replied that, while she has no reservations about me, we cannot tolerate anybody questioning the fact that I had an affair with Mary. We cannot tolerate our children believing that I had an affair with Mary since our children are friends with their children. She just requested that we remain strong and find a swift solution to the matter. In the morning, we messaged my wife's mother's very experienced legal buddy. We called her and described the scenario, starting from the time she gave us in the morning. She urged us to seek legal action, but indicated that she does not handle such circumstances. Instead, she gave us the contact information for another lawyer at her company, and we planned a meeting for midday. We went to visit her and discussed the matter. The attorney advised us that we might launch a case against Mary since she had wrongly implicated me, and there was precedent for viewing her statements as defamatory since they were personal attacks on my reputation. We have evidence of psychological suffering. She did, however, remind us that a defamation action might take years to conclude and is a highly costly and time-consuming procedure. She advised us that Mary would not want to appear in court due to her weak hand. It is thus in her best advantage to offer a formal explanation for her deceptive assertions. Moreover, since she made the fraudulent accusation to Josh would have to validate what she said. I won't get into specifics right now, but I may discuss it later in the comments. However, we were able to arrange for her to receive a letter outlining our intention to bring a defamation claim. After the lawyer worked on it, we discovered that Mary got the letter at her parents' home on Friday morning. The letter threatened to initiate a lawsuit against her by the end of the month, unless she provided a formal, written declaration confirming the untruth of her words. The letter further directed Mary to handle any correspondence about this matter through the law firm. I messaged Josh as anticipated, advising him that we had decided to sue Mary for defamation due to the false statements she made about the affair. We would do all in our ability to counter the claims. Our attorneys will contact you next week, and we hope you cooperate with them and tell them exactly what she said to you on Saturday morning, as I was cooking breakfast and my wife was sitting with our kids. The doorbell rang. I saw the Ring camera that Josh and Mary standing outside the door. Before I could tell my wife to stay back and not open the door, she bolted towards the door. She opened it and started yelling at Josh. She is 5 feet nothing tall. But she is scary when she is angry. She just started calling him names and how can he destroy our lives when we supported him at his lowest. Josh just kept saying. He just wanted to talk to me and kept repeating that. He looked down. My wife just kept on yelling at him and telling him to get lost. Mary started talking then, saying that she was sorry for what she said. Josh was abusing her as she was packing, and she just said that to hurt him. She just kept on saying that Josh is such an idiot and has created such a big mess. My wife turned to her and told her that she better find a good lawyer. Reply to our lawyers. At last she told Josh that if he wanted to meet me, go and first make. We sent the video to our lawyer, who gave us a thumbs up and called us briefly to say that we should meet on Monday to discuss the next steps. I was watching all of this from the breakfast table through the Ring camera, and I realized that we had recorded the entire conversation, including Mary confessing her lies. After about an hour, Josh messaged our friend. I've spent the rest of the day taking my kids to their Saturday activities and playing with them, while my wife was on the phone with all of my friends' wives and her friends gossiping about what happened. I told her not to send the Ring video of Josh and me from last week, and not to mention Mary's affair to them. In the previous post, I stated that they all hated me, but in reality, 4 of my friends called me this week to ask me what was going on. They told me that they knew how crazy Mary was and asked me how they could support me. One of the friends was the one that Josh had called, and he told me that Josh had told him that Mary had an affair with me and that he had filed for divorce. He conveniently left out the part about her cheating on her coworker. I don't think anyone, other than my. We're going to file a TRO against him and Mary next week. The lawyer said we should be able to get it for Josh because there's clear evidence of danger, but Mary might be a long shot. We'll see what we can do from there. Our friendship ended the minute he decided to punch me instead of at least asking if it was true. I can't have people like him around my wife and kids. He was a great friend, but my family and their safety come first. Joshua was. He had my aid during the divorce procedure, but is now on his own. Many of my friends would probably not treat him well, considering what he attempted to do in my place. I am sad for him, and I know he needs expert help. But I've done my part, and I'm hoping that he understands what's best for him moving ahead. Again, I appreciate all of your intelligent comments. I'm pleased that everything is now over, and my wife would want to thank everyone as well. Some pertinent remarks. Not the silly buttocks, though. Josh will thus continue to live with her. I am following her. Alleged that he was mistreating her, pushing her to make a false confession even while her father was there, and then B. He then withdrew his comments, claiming he misunderstood what she had said. He is experiencing troubles. I would send him a snapshot of her correspondence, accusing him of misinterpreting her fib rather than inventing it in the first place. But she also said, rather plainly, that Josh is an idiot and has made a terrible mess, and he did it, remaining quiet. Finally, you formally notified her that you had engaged counsel and requested that she handle any contact with him. She disregarded the directions by visiting your place and then contacting you immediately thereafter. In addition, your lawyer asked that she deliver the statement in writing rather than verbally or over the phone. Fortunately, your camera caught her confession, but because she violated the terms of your cease and desist letter, your attorney should be able to secure an injunction against her. I realize that a cease and desist letter is not the same as a restraining order, or ETA, for persons going insane. However, after she lied, harmed his reputation, and caused his closest friend to attack him as a result of her lies, he legally and in writing requested that she leave them alone. She then visited his home and contacted him later after being threatened with legal action. I just feel he now has the opportunity to use the cease and desist letter, which is a tool, to acquire a restraining order. It may be a long shot, but the tool pushed her to disclose the truth and shown her willingness to defy the wishes of someone she has offended personally. It has been proved that she disobeys the family's wishes despite the danger of legal consequences. It shows her lack of common sense. I would utilize the results of that tool to get a formal restraining order. Even when faced with legal action, most people do not follow directions exactly within 24 hours of being told not to do something, and that's it. It appears that they are destined to be together. Yes, they do at this point. Regrettably, Oppi must realize that his lifelong friend has died. He has little hope of returning to the person he was before she left his life, since she has profoundly changed him for the worst. Josh must have the self-assurance to make the right decision. The way she treats her always saddens me. Mary's choice to lay the whole load on Josh, who was also at fault, and make him look religious and victimized in front of everyone else enraged me even more. Finally, anyone who thinks she's a saint is quite foolish. I hope your guy returns to the group and to his senses someday. Unfortunately, we come to realize at various periods in our lives that we cannot help someone who refuses to help himself. As friends and sympathetic individuals, it's quite tough for you, but at this point, all you can do is defend yourselves. I'm glad you were able to clear your record and that your wife and friends backed you. I wish you the finest luck. Narrative 2. Meet my two best pals, 24 ladies. 23 ladies attended the same university and quickly became friends. Throughout our 3 years of study, we were a group, but this summer we graduated and moved to totally different locales. We utilized FaceTime to catch up after our regular group chat sessions. One of the two got employed in a separate European country, and she had known all along that she would be relocating there. We were looking forward to seeing her on New Year's Eve and had made preparations. I texted them 5 days ago to schedule a FaceTime session so we could start organizing and making trip preparations. Later that evening, a friend who works overseas called me and said she might not be able to take time off work and that we might come later in the spring when it's warmer. However, she unexpectedly released a screenshot of their talks on her Snapchat private story, showing that their third pal had bought a ticket to New York City. I just don't know how to react. I feel so ostracized and let down. We've had get-togethers before, when the two of us would hang together sans the third person. However, we've gone on multiple excursions together and have always agreed that it's a great time. How do I tackle this? I'm not the belligerent kind, therefore I need guidance. Furthermore, we have never argued before. Though I am in certain ways, I do not want to come across as petty, nor do I want to be welcomed out of compassion. Nothing comes to mind that would make them furious with me or anything like. Okay? I suppose I just wanted to get it all out, but I'd also welcome any advice on how to approach this. Not to put too much pressure on things, but how would you approach this situation with close friends? Perhaps someone else has had similar experiences. Comments that are pertinent. These aren't buddies. I would not even bother to converse. They mislead you. Let's go have some springtime fun, and then give you a facepalm by posting it to Snapchat. They are aware. If you bring it up with them, they will take satisfaction in knowing they caused you suffering. Really, do you expect a meaningful apology? Just cut things off and move on. Well-being is the best kind of retribution. Just cut things off and move on. Well-being is the best kind of retribution. Yes, I have done exactly that in the past and have never looked back. We were 5 years old when we first became pals. It took me nearly 20 years to have the confidence to approach her. Thoughtless and nasty behavior. With respect, I've never broken up with friends in this way before. But many of you have taught me that it is sometimes appropriate and feasible to do this. Though I doubt I would need them, I will keep all of this in mind for future situations. Every single one of you is incredibly powerful. You are entitled to be angry. These women had the nerve to organize their trip behind your back and then post about it on Snapchat as if you wouldn't notice. That's cold. In addition, perhaps we should wait till spring. Yes, that was simply an attempt to conceal facts from you. Maintain your composure while you confront them. Like, whoa, have you seen Snapchat? I assumed that everyone was organizing the vacation together. Being left out is a negative thing. Not that you have to make trouble, but you also shouldn't sit back and let them treat you like a footnote. If they genuinely are friends, they will admit it. If not, you've recently found your position. In any event, never be happy with being a backup. Revision okay? It's time for a report. I appreciate all of the comments and private messages I've gotten from my readers. I genuinely appreciate your knowledge. I must admit that thinking things out has been quite beneficial. While working my night shift, I cried while composing the piece in the lavatory. I went to bed with 2 comments, but when I awoke approximately 12 hours later, there were 100. The entire day has virtually passed. I slept all Friday and still haven't. We heard from them throughout the night shift week. To be honest, I grew really furious and lost all hope that I would. I was trying to figure out what to do after going through every comment on this website when I got a text in the group chat stating she had booked a trip and that I should go on it. I was hesitant to answer until after breakfast, but I eventually said that I didn't understand. When they had already planned everything without me, I did not feel welcome to participate. Last I heard, we should arrange it for later, and I'll find out through your Snapchat story. They immediately assured me that this was not their intention. They conveyed their heartfelt apologies for any harm I may have felt and their desire that I not feel alone. They hadn't. According to a broad girl who called me on FaceTime straight away, we hadn't spoken much. She said Flight Girl made the decision on the spur of the moment, minutes before the Snapchat post was created. She displayed empathy for my emotions, but she always hoped that I would follow in her footsteps. Flight Girl later sent me a FaceTime call. We'd been talking about it for a while, and she didn't want to wait any longer, so she tried to explain why she felt compelled to book the flight after carefully considering whether she could afford it. She apologized many times for without consulting me beforehand. She realized that even a broad girl could have to work. However, she was still tempted to attend. Admittedly, I did not get to say everything I wanted to say, and I should have followed the advice to write down my views before answering the phone. It doesn't make sense if they were truly delighted for me to go. In my perspective, it makes sense for them to become excited about a lady's vacation and plan it all on their own. Because we'd always planned these events ahead of time, I assumed this wasn't how they conducted things. Planning, marketing, booking, Pinterest boards, and a lot more. I'm not sure if I'll go, but I don't think so. I told them I needed to see if I'd be able to take some time off work, as usual, to avoid trouble, and I'm not sure where I would have been if I hadn't received that text first. Looking back, I don't believe I was able to articulate this as much as I would have liked, but I think they got the idea. I'm not sure if I'm just naive right now, but I sincerely hope I'm not. I'm not sure if I'm just naive right now, and I'm not sure if I'm just naive. My weight has decreased, and I don't think I'd have recovered so quickly if I hadn't spoken to them today. These are close friends that I know and love very well, and they know and love me back. I'm sorry for my bad English, everyone. My last piece of writing in English escapes me. I'm trying to reflect on the past in order to manage this connection moving forward and keep an eye on any patterns with these buddies. Okay, so after I posted this, I noticed, why am I swinging about so much? It looks to be a sad invitation, implying that my presence was never intended, and it is simply dreadful some observations. It took them all day to respond, so I'm guessing they realized you saw the picture and had to choose which story to go with. Furthermore, they do not express genuine regret or provide an explanation for why you will not pardon them. Inform them that the outings are tainted, and that you do not feel comfortable accepting what appears to be a sad invitation. Yes, precisely. Nonetheless, they were fully aware that I would see it. Reading this from you, I see that it genuinely feels like a pity invitation. Is it feasible for you to plan this holiday with people who are not related? That is my line of action. They excluded you and provided poor explanations. Without a question, I would travel with a fresh set of friends and share images from my fantastic experience. Cuddy, I know, but at least they understand you can travel and have fun without them. I'd want to accept an invitation to my friend's summer house once more. I was sincere. I was unhappy that I couldn't join them due to another trip. I'll have to make a decision, but I'm becoming eager to inform them that I will in the end another 5-person buddy group, all of them having partners, and me being the only single one. Yeah, you're right, I think I still don't feel at home. Even if it wasn't their intention. I'm sad that they didn't think about me. They didn't appear to be all that happy to have me around at first, at least not until I said it. Thank you for sticking around until the end.